Have you ever had one of those quiet mornings where you sit with your coffee or tea, the house is still, and you just start thinking, is this how the rest of my life is supposed to feel? Not bad, just quieter than you expected. Maybe even a little lonely or routine. You've raised a family, built a career, and spent decades doing things for others. Now, with more time on your hands, there's this urge, not to slow down but to do things differently. To feel more alive again, more purposeful, more you. You're not alone in feeling that way. In fact, a lot of people over 60 quietly admit they're searching for something more fulfilling. Not necessarily a big change, but little shifts that bring more joy, more meaning, more connection. And what's fascinating is that the happiest, most independent seniors, they figured out a few key things that make a big difference. Simple things, but powerful. In this video, we're going to talk about 6 things that independent seniors tend to do differently, the kind of things that keep their spirits high, their minds active, and their lives full of purpose. These aren't magic tricks or time-consuming routines. They're real habits, grounded in everyday choices, and they might just inspire you to look at life a little differently too. So let's start with one of the most surprising, and probably the most powerful shifts of all. You see, truly independent seniors are not afraid to say no. Not in a cold or selfish way, quite the opposite. They've simply learned the art of protecting their time and energy. They don't stretch themselves thin out of guilt or obligation. Instead, they choose their commitments with care. Think about it. How many times have you agreed to something just because you didn't want to disappoint someone? Or gone along with a plan that left you feeling drained afterward? It might be helping a neighbor too often, attending every single family gathering even when you're exhausted, or volunteering for things that don't light you up anymore. Independent seniors, the kind that stay vibrant and happy, they've made peace with the idea that their time is valuable. They've earned the right to prioritize joy, rest, and authenticity. Saying no more often means they can say yes to the things that truly matter. Whether that's a peaceful walk in the garden, a long phone call with a dear friend, or just curling up with a good book, they make space for what fills them up instead of what wears them down. And here's the thing, this doesn't make them less generous or kind. In fact, they often show up more fully because they're not constantly drained. They've set boundaries that protect their energy, and those boundaries lead to a deeper sense of freedom. Now, once you start guarding your time more intentionally, something interesting happens. You begin to rediscover what you enjoy, not just what you used to enjoy, but what fits your life now. And that leads us to the second thing independent seniors do differently. They create routines that bring them joy, not just structure. There's a big difference between routines that feel like chores, and routines that actually bring peace and happiness into your day. It's not about scheduling every hour or following a strict to-do list. It's about building little moments into your day that give you a reason to get out of bed with a smile. Maybe it's a morning walk that helps clear your mind and stretch your legs. Maybe it's playing the piano for 15 minutes after lunch. Maybe it's calling a grandchild every Sunday or feeding the birds each afternoon. These don't need to be big, impressive tasks. The best routines, the kind that independent, happy seniors build, are the ones that align with who they are now, not who they used to be. A woman I once met in her late 70s started painting again after 40 years of not touching a brush. She told me, "I thought I was too old to start again, but then I realized I was just too busy saying yes to everything else." Now she paints in the morning before breakfast just for her. And you can see the difference in her eyes when she talks about it. It's those kinds of moments, quiet, consistent, deeply personal, that build a joyful life. And it doesn't matter whether you're an early riser or a night owl, whether you live alone or with family in the city or the countryside. The happiest seniors build their routines around joy, not just around what they think they should do. So if your days have started feeling a bit repetitive, or if you're craving more meaning, start small. Ask yourself, what is one thing I used to love doing that I could try again? Or even, what's something I've never done but always wanted to? There's no deadline, just curiosity. And when you start aligning your days with that joy, you start feeling something else too. A quiet confidence, a sense of control, even a spark of excitement. And believe me, that feeling is contagious. It changes how you show up, how you speak, how you move. Now, these first 2 shifts, learning to say no without guilt and building joyful routines, they might sound simple. But they lay the foundation for something bigger, the ability to truly lead your own life again. And that brings us to the next powerful habit independent seniors embrace. Now that we've talked about the importance of saying no and building routines that bring joy, let's dive into the next key habit that many independent seniors practice. They stay mentally active in ways that feel natural to them. You might be thinking, I've heard it all before, brain games, puzzles, reading, etc. But it's not just about keeping your mind busy. It's about keeping your mind engaged in ways that truly resonate with you. Independent seniors know that mental stimulation doesn't have to come in the form of formal exercises or strategies. It can be as simple as being curious and keeping an open mind. Take, for example, a man I met who decided to learn a new language in his early 70s. He'd always wanted to learn Spanish, but life got in the way. After retiring, he finally took a class, not for any particular reason, but just because he thought it would be fun. What surprised him the most was how much his brain enjoyed the challenge. It was difficult at first, of course, but over time his ability to recall words, phrases, and even his pronunciation got better. He found that the more engaged his mind was with something he was genuinely curious about, the sharper he felt overall. And it wasn't just about learning a language. Whether it's picking up a new hobby, exploring a topic you've always been interested in, or trying something completely outside your comfort zone, mentally engaging yourself can be incredibly rewarding. The key takeaway here? It's not about forcing yourself to do something you don't enjoy just to keep your mind sharp. It's about pursuing something that sparks that natural curiosity, something that excites you. It could be reading about history, learning to cook new recipes, exploring technology, or even just diving into a subject you've always thought was interesting. The independent seniors I've observed don't view this as a chore. They view it as an opportunity to grow in ways that bring them joy. And when they embrace this mindset, they tend to feel more alive, more capable, and more confident. Mental engagement keeps them in tune with the world around them, and that's what helps them stay independent and fulfilled. This ties into something else that independent seniors do really well. They prioritize physical health, but not in a rigid way. They don't over-exercise or push their bodies too hard, but they keep their movement intentional and enjoyable. It's all about balance. Many seniors start out with good intentions, like going to the gym 5 days a week or following a strict fitness routine. But for some, this can feel like a struggle. The key is understanding that fitness doesn't have to be intense or even formal to be effective. Independent seniors focus on activities that allow them to move their bodies without feeling overwhelmed by them. For example, one woman I know in her late 60s walks her dog every morning for about 30 minutes. It's not a power walk, but she moves at a steady pace and enjoys the fresh air. Another friend does chair yoga, which allows her to stretch and strengthen her muscles without ever leaving her living room. These activities keep them feeling strong, flexible, and energized. And here's the best part: they don't feel like work. They don't have to drag themselves out of bed with dread. Instead, they've found ways to stay active that feel good in the moment, not like something they have to get through. A big part of the mental and physical connection is remembering that it doesn't take extreme changes to see improvements. A short walk in the morning, stretching before bed, gardening, or even a light workout, whatever you enjoy and feel comfortable doing, that's enough. Keeping your body active is all about creating consistency without making it a burden. So, whether it's mental engagement or physical movement, the third thing that independent seniors do differently is that they know the importance of keeping a balanced, sustainable routine that allows them to enjoy being active, rather than treating it as an obligation. And this brings us to another key habit that independent seniors embrace. They stay socially engaged, but with boundaries that fit their lifestyle. Now, this doesn't mean they're constantly surrounded by people, but they make sure they stay connected in ways that feel fulfilling to them. Many independent seniors understand that it's quality over quantity when it comes to relationships. They prioritize meaningful connections, the friends who make them laugh, the family members who bring them joy, and the neighbors who share similar interests. They recognize that their social circles might look a little different than when they were younger, but the depth and authenticity of those relationships are more important than ever. For some, this might mean regular phone calls with close friends or family members. For others, it might be attending a weekly book club or joining a local community group that aligns with their passions. The key here is that independent seniors don't wait for social events to come to them. They take the initiative to stay connected in ways that feel manageable and genuine. In fact, some seniors have shared that they find great comfort in the smaller, quieter interactions, like sharing a cup of tea with a neighbor or meeting a friend for lunch once a week. They've let go of the idea that they need to be constantly out and about or at every family gathering. Instead, they make sure their social time is meaningful and enriching. It's all about finding the balance between staying connected to others and making time for solitude when needed. Independent seniors know that their well-being doesn't depend on being constantly surrounded by people. But they also understand that having those genuine, close relationships adds an invaluable layer of happiness and support. Here we are moving into part 3, where we'll wrap up the habits that independent seniors embrace to live happier, more fulfilling lives. By now, we've discussed how maintaining mental engagement, staying active, fostering purpose, and adapting to change can make a significant difference. Now, let's talk about the final habits that can truly set independent seniors apart. One of the most powerful things independent seniors do differently is managing stress and prioritizing relaxation. As we age, we often find that we can't bounce back from stress as easily as we used to, and that's okay. But the key is how we deal with it. Independent seniors know the importance of slowing down and taking time for themselves. They make relaxation a priority, not an afterthought. They understand that stress, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, can take a toll on their bodies and minds. That's why they carve out time for activities that calm them and help them recharge. It could be something as simple as taking a walk in the park, sitting in a comfortable chair with a good book, or enjoying a cup of tea. The goal isn't to avoid stress altogether, but to give themselves the time and space to unwind and reset. Mindfulness practices such as meditation or deep breathing exercises are also becoming increasingly popular among older adults. These practices help seniors manage stress by encouraging them to focus on the present moment, rather than worrying about the past or future. Mindfulness can reduce anxiety, improve focus, and enhance overall well-being. It's not about achieving perfect calm, it's about creating little pockets of peace throughout the day. Take Maria, for instance. In her 70s, she's learned to incorporate deep breathing exercises into her morning routine. Instead of diving straight into her day, she takes 5 minutes to breathe deeply, clear her mind, and focus on gratitude. This simple practice sets the tone for the rest of her day and helps her approach any challenges with a calm and positive mindset. But relaxation isn't just about sitting still. For some seniors, relaxation comes from engaging in hobbies they love. Whether it's knitting, painting, cooking, or gardening, these activities provide an outlet for creativity and offer a peaceful escape from the stresses of daily life. Independent seniors know that by making time for these activities, they nurture their emotional health and give themselves the gift of joy. Another important habit is staying financially smart. Independent seniors are careful about managing their money and make sure they're living within their means, even if their financial situation has changed in retirement. They understand the importance of budgeting, tracking expenses, and saving for the future, but they also know how to enjoy life within those means. They avoid the stress of living paycheck to paycheck by staying on top of their finances and making thoughtful decisions about their spending. For example, Tom, a senior in his late 60s, made a decision early on to live simply and downsize his home. While it might have been difficult at first, the financial freedom it brought him was invaluable. Not only did he reduce his living expenses, but he also gave himself more time and energy to enjoy the activities that brought him joy, like traveling, gardening, and spending time with his grandchildren. By focusing on what truly matters and cutting out unnecessary expenses, he created a life that felt both abundant and manageable. Managing finances also extends to making smart decisions about healthcare and insurance. Independent seniors know that healthcare can be a significant expense as they age, so they plan ahead. They stay informed about their options, whether it's Medicare, private insurance, or long-term care coverage, and they make sure their medical needs are being met without breaking the bank. Financial peace of mind is an essential part of feeling independent and in control. Finally, one of the most empowering habits that independent seniors have mastered is embracing their own aging process. Aging doesn't have to be a negative thing. In fact, independent seniors know how to celebrate the wisdom, experience, and perspective that come with each passing year. They embrace their age with pride and recognize that their life experiences make them stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever. They don't fall into the trap of comparing themselves to others or wishing they were younger. Instead, they focus on what they can do today, appreciating the opportunities that come with each stage of life. They focus on living in the present and cherishing the moments, whether that's enjoying a quiet afternoon, dancing at a family gathering, or reflecting on the things they've learned along the way. For example, Helen, a woman in her 80s, recently started writing her memoirs. She's always loved storytelling, and now she's using her life experiences to inspire others. She's not focused on what she can't do anymore. She's embracing the power of her words and the impact they can have on the younger generations. This mindset allows her to stay engaged and fulfilled, regardless of any physical limitations that may arise. Independent seniors know that their value isn't tied to their appearance, their ability to do things the way they did when they were younger, or how others perceive them. They are confident in who they are, and they understand that the aging process is a natural part of life. Embracing it means enjoying the journey rather than fighting against it. So, to wrap things up, independent seniors live with intention. They take care of their mental and physical health, find purpose in the everyday, adapt to change with ease, manage stress, and embrace the aging process with grace and confidence. These habits may seem simple, but they make a world of difference in how seniors experience their lives. The secret to staying happy, healthy, and independent is about finding joy in the small moments, keeping an open mind, and appreciating every step of the journey. Remember, it's never too late to start adopting these habits. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, you have the power to create a fulfilling and joyful life, no matter where you are in your journey. So, what will you do today to embrace independence and start living life on your terms? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Here's to living your best life at any age.